Hello, welcome to a little video to help you work with your multi-page document. In this, I want to show you a few tips and tricks in InDesign, which could end up being fairly helpful or useful to you in the process. Starting out, I've already copied all the content from the file provided in SAM, so I've got that ready to go. So this is going to be rather informal, kind of walking you through a few interesting things. Right now, what I've done beforehand is I've gone in and built just a super basic master template that you can work with. I've given myself two text box and then a couple of text boxes on the side with a vertical dividing line, just 0.25 in weight, aligned to the bottom of this text box. I've got a couple of numbers in the corner here just to kind of indicate where there's going to be page numbers, and I've given myself just a box here and a window here in which I can place elements should I want through the design. Now, what I can do with something like this could just be a little statistic or a data visualization or a pull quote, right? This can be anything. You can put these anywhere as long as it falls within your grid and works. Now, the reason I'm doing this like this is so everything's consistent. Everything's going to be the same spot. Everything's lined up so that when I need it, it's right where it needs to be. So this is the master, as you can see. Now, if I switch over to my pages, you can see that everything has been applied all the way through. I am going to want to switch this up, but I'm not going to do that now. This would be my title page, my cover page, and my back cover page. Now, what I would most likely do, since they're going to be printed on cardstock as opposed to the regular interior print paper, I'd create a separate file that has my cover and back cover on it, because it's going to be a single sheet of cardstock printed and folded, so the interior is either going to be blank white, or I can put some sort of graphic or texture or information on the inside of the cover, but I'm not doing that right now. This is simply just to show you how you can work with master pages for a large multi-page document and have it make your life easier. So let's just use our brains to omit pages this and the bottom one. So you see now what the master looks like applied. Of course, I can't select anything, so that seems counterintuitive to put text boxes here, and it seems like a waste of time. But it's not. You may already know this, but if you press Command, Shift, and click, so Command, Shift, and you click on an item that's on your master page, you can then use it, you can edit with it. So it can be edited. Right now, since I Command, Shift, clicked this area, it's the only thing on this page that's selectable now that, I've got some information in there. The good news is here, if you select and paste all of your information into this original box, then you can work with threaded text. Threaded text, you probably already know this, is when you'll get this little plus sign when there's text outside of what can fit in the text box you've selected. So if you press this little fella here, you can then just keep clicking along until all of your text has been placed into the document using the text boxes you desire. And it just makes things go fairly smoothly to get all your content in without having to fiddle with alignment for your text boxes or worry about the width of these columns. Are they different? Because we've built them the exact same in our master, and therefore we can make things work a little bit easier when we get to the stage. Oh, look at that, there's a lot of text, as you'll figure out. So you're going to figure out how many pages are actually needed, but this gives you a really good kind of this shows you how you can actually get that text in there pretty quickly. And the nice thing is I'm going to start returning some lines here. Keep your eyes on the right page. You can see that as I create space here, everything else is going to adjust. Now, this is really great in terms of not having to worry about text getting lost if you did this a different way, like if you just copied and pasted an exact amount of text into this one, then pasted an exact amount of text into this window, and they weren't threaded, and you started editing down, the sentences that got pushed over here this way might be missed if you allowed yourself to kind of break up the text boxes and not thread them. So that's a quick way you can work with master pages to give yourself a really nice kind of layout, consistent with layout. You'll see everything's, well, it's an awkward, ugly size, but you'll see it's at the very least consistent, 5.58 inches wide and 9.2 inches tall for an 8.5 by 11 page. So yeah, and you can adjust this however you want, and things will work. I think we may even be able to adjust it here. So let's go to 5.12, 5.12, close enough. I'll click here, and it has changed for us. So if we want to switch that up, we just Command C back. So there you go. That's one helpful little tip and trick to get your threaded text in there in an easy way. So one, you create master pages with the text boxes here, and you can format the font and all that sort of stuff like I have now. I have this set compact regular 12 points. There's my kind of leading. It's all standard. I haven't fiddled with this or finagled with it or kind of fine-tuned it. So all that set, so when I paste that text in, it's hitting it. Now you should be able to apply your paragraph styles too. If I'm not mistaken, you have worked with paragraph styles before, so you may be able to set your paragraph styles to go in these, so that when you paste in your information, you get a little bit of a head start on things. Now I think you are going to be hamstrung to the formatting of the text from the in-copy document or the Word document that I've given you. From there, it'll be less work than having to format everything at once, I'm sure. So you'll figure that out. That'll be a part of your process, how you choose to work, so you can play with that. Great. Now the next thing I want to go through is a few little details here. We've got our page numbers, and I put 2 and 3, but that doesn't really help us, does it, when we get to our pages and we're actually taking a look at what's going on here, because everything is either 2 or 3, and that's a nightmare. That's not what we want. But what we do want is to turn on the auto page numbering. This may be something you've worked with before. If not, it's pretty simple. I think you highlight this. We go into, where did I go? Yeah, type, insert special character, markers, current page number. Now you can see this switches to A, which is fantastic. Type, insert markers, current page number. I think this is going to work for us just fine when we go down here on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So turning that on in the master pages, creating our current page number boxes in the master pages allows us to position them once, line them up exactly how we want it, not have to worry about copying and pasting this into every page. And what happens is setting it up just gives us a nice, consistent layout and one less thing to worry about. And if we add pages or we subtract pages, it's going to do the math for you. It's going to figure things out. But isn't that nice? Just an easy way to kind of auto page number everything so that things go smoothly and your placement's right. So that's pretty straightforward. Just a reminder again, it's you highlight the text in the box you're concerned with, you go to type, insert special character, markers, current page number, and there's a hotkey there, a shortcut for you that you can kind of write down and memorize if you choose to kind of figure that out. And that's a quick way to make it work. It makes things kind of go well for you right away. So all of a sudden, in like 10 minutes or 5 minutes, you and I have already gone through, once we got the layout, we figured out how we can get all the text in here really consistently and evenly so it looks great. I mean, in terms of column width and consistency, I mean, I haven't formatted anything yet. And a way to get our page numbers in place and accurate so that it looks easy and it's done once and it just carries out throughout the document, making life again easier. These projects seem so big, but with a little bit of setup at first with InDesign, what happens is these documents become simple. There's hardly any fight to it anymore. There's going to be fine tuning in terms of the type, making sure my headers look the way I want them, and the body copy's good, and there's nice returns, and we don't have too much ragged stuff, which I do here, but that'd be later, right? That's how you're figuring things out. You're going to fine tune your column width, all that sort of thing, your type size, and your hierarchy so that it works for you. All right, so now the next thing I wanted to show you is the reason I put the header type here is because it just makes things a little bit easier. It's nice to have a header. It's nice to have a little bit of information at the top, which helps the hierarchy. It's nice to have a consistent kind of spacing and layout. So we've got this nice line here on the page. There's a nice amount of white space. And the way you toggle from looking at your edit view to how the page view is going to look is just by hitting W. So by typing W, I can jump from this look and just kind of get a feel for how it goes back to this and then know what I can work with. So with my table of contents that I would put in, this would most likely be the name. The header I'm going to have is the name of the section or that whatever it says in table of contents for this page, that's what I'm going to have up there. It's a quick at a glance bit of information that the viewer who's flipping through the book can quickly get, okay, I'm on the right page because I'm looking for admissions. So it's going to be there. And the same thing would happen here. Now I'm on my pages again, as you can see here. I'm not editing the master, I'm in the pages themselves, but I want to change this, but I cannot select or anything. So once again, we go to the Command Shift click. All right, here, we can change this to admissions. Easy peasy. And most likely admissions is going to be a 2-pager, so we will Command Shift click again, and we can put the admissions in. Because it's going to be the 2 pages spread for the section. You'll notice I had this set up already for being right aligned, and this one's left aligned. All of that you want set up in here. You want things set up as you select this text box. We can see that it's actually, I use the align center for the actual text box itself. You can always align to the top, to the bottom. You can justify it, but I just went with the center, so I can create the text box roughly the same size as the bar and align center the text and just kind of jam it in there, align it all to the what am I looking for here? Key object. Woof! Boy, oh boy, that took a while. So I got the key object, aligned it to it, and then everything looks pretty nice and consistent. Doing the work here in terms of how these are going to be formatted, left aligned, what have you, that's key to this whole plan, because a little bit of work up front means there's going to be less work when we get to here. It's just plugging in information and changing the important information here and there. So yeah, that's how you can handle the headers. Next, we gave ourselves, I don't really like what I've done here, so I'm actually going to go back in and fix this up in the master, because if I have an image block there, what's going to happen I was looking for the wrong thing. Gotta get into the master window. Yeah, so if I build my little frame here and select both of those on the range, send it back, I can select this, and I can make it actually a nice white frame with, let's do a little bit of opacity there. Oh, that's way too. Yeah, now that looks good. All right, back to it. Thanks for your patience. Let's say I have this, now I want to put something in this window. Again, it can't select it, but Command-Shift, it makes it accessible to me, and Command-D should allow me to put in something that I want in there. Oh, that doesn't look great. So with this, I have a frame that I built. I threw my file in there, and it just doesn't look very good. And this isn't going to work because I didn't build that to scale. I'll show you what you can do if you build it to scale. Fit content to frame. It's going to squish up that logo pretty ugly, so that is an option. So let's do this like a normal person would, and just kind of hold Shift and Alt to kind of work that. Oh, that's so ugly. I thought I had a PNG. You're gonna work with me on this. You're just gonna say, hey, Mike, that looks fantastic. So you can place something in there. You would have a much better file than I do. Instead of this like JPEG from the interwebs, you would have a nice EPS or probably for that. But let's ignore how bad that looks for now and just celebrate together the joy of learning how to edit these things from a master. For example, let's say I wanted again to use this. I would Command-Shift click it to make it live, and then maybe I would place something from my. I'm gonna place this. Yeah, let's put this here. So we've got our magazine. Ooh, there we go. So I've got an EPS in here for that, and let's scale this down to a little bit of a normal size. Now that I scaled that down proportionately, I can do this fitting, content to frame. It's going to be exactly where I want it. Now, the reason I put this purple box in here is that could be a nice guide if I want to put something in there consistently. Whether it's a text box or whether I just want this piece in there, again, align to keyframe, and then just get rid of the purple box. And we're left with an icon there that, can be consistent page to page to page, so that, things are always in a consistent spot, so it's easier for the person to kind of look for these visual cues. Like, okay, let's say this was a library, I had information from the library in the right here, then this icon would be tied into there. Even though we've got our master pages with this in a single spot, that doesn't mean that we always have to leave it there. We may be able to move it up and down within this column, or this piece here may not always be full. There may not always be anything in it. So what this could be text, this could be additional information, depending on what you draw from the content. You could put like financial information in here, you could put pull quotes, you could put testimonials. Instead, you could have a full photo, like you could just bring photography in here. Maybe that's what these columns are for you. The grid is the grid, and then how you use the grid is going to be up to you. But using a master page, as we have, gives you that flexibility to do all these different things. Like you can still use photo, you can still use floods of color, you can still use what have you in these areas, but they're consistently laid out, so your layout's pretty strong. And page to page, it's going to be what people saw on the page before, and the visual cues that you give through these icons and the header and the information here is going to make it easy to know where they are in the document. So that's about it. I may make another video if I think of anything else, but these are some of the basics which can help you really blow through this project relatively quickly and painlessly. Once the grid's in place, there's still a lot of room for you to play and do interesting things, but you've got consistency. And in this, with a grid and with your master pages, you can build in the white space. You can build in the comfort, these resting points for the eye in terms of the header and the footer area that just make your design even more effective. So good luck with the project. I think you're going to do fine. And as long as you keep your design principles in mind and, think through your decisions, InDesign can help you do these things a lot faster than you initially might think it's going to take. So Good luck. If you have any questions, as always, my door's open and we can chat it through. All right, thanks for watching. See you later.